The original performances, I think all the performances in the show were great. And as an actor, you want to be inspired by that, but you don't want to have to go. I didn't want to re-look at it. I didn't want to go back to it again and again. I felt like Sandeep and the writers had done enough to make it their own, to adapt it, and I think that's one of the things that people are noticing a lot about the show. It feels like it's not a copy-paste job, that's an understatement. I think they've really managed to make it feel completely grounded over here and made it feel fully realized to the Indian subcontinent. And for me, I had enough stuff on the page to draw from, and by virtue of just staying true to what he and the writers gave me, it ended up being different. But I didn't approach it with that as the thing in the forefront of my mind.
But still, Tom Hiddleston, big shoes. So how were you intimidated?
Big shoes, absolutely big shoes, but not something that, I mean, as actors, we have enough stuff to lose sleep over. You're jumping on set in front of 200 people every day, trying to, do your stuff. It's tough as it is. So the idea, I think, as much as you can, is to declutter and to try and remove as much as the unnecessary anxieties that are not going to serve you in any way. I was completely cognizant of the fact that this was a very, the titular role and so on and so forth, and there was a lot to do. But yeah, I had enough stuff to make me anxious. I didn't have to think about Tom,
Great. I want to talk to Shobita, but I'll first get to Sandeep because it has something to do with this. In terms of adaptation, these changes that you made, and Sridhar is not here, so maybe you can enlighten us. What was the most important thing that you thought you have to deviate from the original to adapt it to the Indian audiences? When we are making shows in India, is there a need to say, this is black, this is white, this guy is good, this guy is bad? Because conventionally, we don't see Mr. Kapoor do anything evil in the show, right? Like he's a charming man, he's just being charming. So. And we are still supposed to believe he's dangerous and diabolical and he's villainous and all that. But mostly we've seen in Indian movies or Indian shows, there's a clear hero-villain, black, white, which is not all that clear in your show. So what was the thinking behind the adaptation part of it for India?
Hi everyone. Firstly, I know we've been talking of the writers a lot, so that's Sridhar, Akshat, Shantanu. Also, I have a co-director, Priyanka, who are not here. So, of course, we are talking on behalf of everyone. I think, first of all, this is a very exciting panel for all of us to be here because we are talking to peers, people who have probably been in similar shoes, who probably understand the troubles of adaptation. There are many pitfalls, many a slip between the lip and the cup here. I think there were two viewpoints which we approached this from. One was when you're doing an adaptation. This is the second time I'm doing an adaptation. The first time was season 1 of Arya, which I was the co-creator on. And in both the cases, the question we were asking ourselves is, why are we adapting it? And how do we make the story feel like it's coming from our heart and our land? This was the key question. Ye kahani kyun hamari hai? Why not just dub it in Hindi and watch it? They're great actors in any case, right? Why would you just do that? Why would you want to see Anil Kapoor, Shobita, Adi do it? It has to come from our own point of view to the world. And somewhere the thing which we went by is like, what are the things which we think we can change to make it more Indian, more us? Better or worse is for everyone to judge. But for example, the opening episode, the question we always asked ourselves is, what makes a regular guy or a regular girl, anyone who, like one of us, having a everyday job, turn around a life and become a spy, right? And the question is, it has to be the John le Carre or even the original writers of the British show. They all went by the idea that it is love. But we thought, what is deeper than love? And we thought guilt. एक 14 साल की बच्ची जब मर जाती है, the guilt of that will weigh heavier on your soul than anything else. So we took a lot of calls based on a very unpopular line, which I'll say, कि हम like when they asked me whether I want to work on this adaptation, I said there are more things I want to change than the things I want to retain. So are you sure you want to retain me then? And yet, the same time, across the world or anywhere where I've traveled, or including this set, there were many fans of the show. You know, many people who love the show. You know, despite the same thing which I see as a flaw, someone else sees it as a, "ये तो बहुत अच्छा था." So the approach to that has been I would say, the joy which me and Sridhar had to tackle. Some places we've absolutely followed our gut. Some places we've said, I think this is an audience winner. Let's just allow it to float and see how it feels. But even after the writing, through the whole process of our workshops with the actors, and now I know workshop is an often abused term, but genuinely in this one, the amount of time Adi, Shobita, Anil sir, and everyone, Tilotama, everyone spent on the character. Like Anil sir, he doesn't talk about it. He has a Lal diary. Okay? When you go to his house for a discussion, randomly he's called you at like 7:30 saying, "Acha, Sandeep, you up?" It's a message aayega aapko. "Sandeep, you up?" And you said, "Yes, sir." "Of course you're not up. Your phone has just buzzed." And he said, come see me. Let's just, I have something to chat about. Can you come over? And you don't know what is going to come. And you reach his house, like Lal diary aati hai. And it's written all these questions of character. Who's this character? Where does he come from? Why is he saying this line? Why this? I तो homework करके आना पड़ेगा to answer it. So everyone's really put in a lot of their heart and made it their own. Like Rungta, the last name, it came through a discussion with sir. We had named it something else, and then AK said, the name has to feel more specific, more interesting. The idea of making it shipping, all of that came through various discussions with Adi. You talking of the way we found the tone of character. We tried so many different things with it, and all of it came from Adi. None of it came from Tom or how the thing. It came from the material. How was he looking at it? And somewhere we found a stride and said, okay, let's just go with it. And as sir says, sometimes you feel character समझ में आता है show खत्म होने के बाद, release होने के बाद. But sometimes you feel it in your heart in an instant. You feel like ये है, इसको पकड़ के रखो, इसको मत छोड़ो. So most of our conversations which me and Aditya always used to have between each schedule will be, Aditya, don't change anything. Don't change anything. I remember so many calls I would just say, Adi, change nothing. And since Shobita is here, our process with Shobita is beautiful. I'm happy he's given the mic to me first, because once she takes the mic, you're going to be mesmerized with her answers. I think me and AK keep saying, "Arey yaar, Shobita is on the panel. We should speak first." But the way she really explores the character so well. So one of our journeys has been just asking questions to each other. I said answers we'll find on screen. No, let's not answer it in words. So it's been a process, yeah. When you say, how did me and Sridhar adapt it? Well, we did, but I think all of us did. Eventually, it became a beast of its own, which we were no longer trying to control it. Over to Shobita.
Yeah, Shobita, I'm really glad you're here, because without you, this is a manel. It's just men talking. And also, I'm really glad that...
Nobody would have taken up pictures also. Can I share something? Very interesting, because there are a lot of people from the industry and media aware. So I was in London very quickly, and we were promoting Slumdog Millionaire. So I was sitting with a team of Pathe. And he says, kya hai? Even if the President Obama, if he comes alone, there won't be so many photo ops. He might be on the second or third page, but if he comes with his wife, there'll be, it'll be a front page news. So, हमने बोला यार photo तो आनी चाहिए सब जगह, शोभिता का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And she speaks so well, even Michelle speaks so well. So over to you, our
No
Michelle
pressure.
Obama.
Shobita, I'm glad you exist, because what you've done to the landscape is that you play a lot of South Indian characters. Here, your name is Kaveri in this. So also you embrace your accent, and here you play a woman with mystery, right? There's so little we get into her real self, because she says, I don't want to see anyone, I don't want anyone to see me cry. So how did you approach this? How do you create mystery about this character who the audience is not supposed to know too much about, but slowly discover who she is, because you get very little footage, and in that you need to like capture it. So how do you approach this as an actor and your whole persona, real life persona, becoming the character?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is such an august gathering. So many intelligent people, and with my team saying all these nice things about me, I'm absolutely terrified about sounding like an idiot. I mean, Kaveri is a river in the south, but I don't think that has any connection to me playing someone from south in this. It's not tied up. I think the connection with the name has more to do with water and what it represents. You know, water can be still, but it can be very deep, and so often the currents can change from day to night. From like her life is very turbulent, much like water, but there's also it's serene. So we thought there was an interesting parallel, and I really liked the name. I thought it represents her quite beautifully. As for I don't look at characters in terms of how much footage they have. I don't think it's the most significant thing at all. Uh, in the larger arc of the character, there are a lot of answers. Answers should not be given, they should be arrived at, is what I feel. And I feel like with her character, we know and we see as much as we need to. And sometimes you want to lean a little bit closer to hear her better, to know what lies simmering beneath the surface. And I think